Okay, here's my front of house rig and everything else. What's in the rack here is top one is a Cyber Power UPS unit, so it basically brings in AC, conditions it, and has a battery in there, so if I lose power, to keep this rack running, which is kind of important with digital equipment. And below that is an Allen and Heath IDR 16. It's a 16 by 8 digital mixer, and this is the stage rack portion of it, which also includes the digital signal processor. Most digital boards actually have the processor in the board itself, but in this case it's in the stage rack. So the other connections that are here, you can see this goes to a wireless access point. I'll show you that in a second. Here we've got some mic inputs here. There's 16 mic inputs here. This one I think is for my bass guitar, and these two are some track that I'm running through. And then here are the 8 outputs. These top 4 are going to IEMs, and that's a configuration I'm working on for the show we're playing tonight. And those 4 channels go to 4 Sennheiser 300 series IEMs, and we'll talk about how this is being set up, and like I said, we'll give it a whirl tonight at our show and let you know the results. Kind of part 2 of the quick tour here is got an access point here, wireless access point here that's connected to the iLive mixer, and all the fan noise you hear is actually from the antenna combiner and power supply for the Sennheisers. Just got that the other day. I'm a little bit surprised how noisy it was, but considering what I needed to do, no complaints. So, at any rate, so that what we're looking at basically here with these 2 racks is a complete front of house monitor drive and monitors. In the drawer here, we just keep the all the IEM units and some antenna ports and things like that. But this is basically it. And now I'll show you some configurations. Basically, I'm going to use this iPod coming in through a DI here as a simulating the main mix, and then we'll see how well this works. Again, I'm a bass player, but that right there is going to be my bass amp tonight. Since I'm on ears, I really can't hear my rig that's on stage anyhow. And it's a very small club, so I'm just going to run direct tonight. And since everybody's going to be on ears, we'll see if that works. If not, we'll have to drag the amps out of the truck and set them back up. But that right there, and the mixer is basically runs on the laptop. This is my front of house bass amp, monitors, everything. All I got to do is add basically a front of house speakers and amps to this computer, 2 DIs and 2 racks to run the show. So again, we're still here in the garage trying to figure all this stuff out and make sure it all works tonight. But what we've got going on right now, the panel that's on the left that you see is basically my front of house mix. And again, this is an Allen and Heath iLive system. The 2 tracks there that have signal, or that iPod that's playing through a DI and going into it. Actually can't play bass and hold the camera at the same time, but where you see that level jumping up, I'm just kind of touching the end of the cord, so that's going to be my basses in there. So we've used this for quite a while. I've got, I don't know, about 150 shows that I've used this on. But what's new for us tonight is, and let's see if you can see this on this panel, this is all my main mix bus activity. The first couple are monitors. The 3rd one that's actually bumped up here is my monitor send. I was just doing some testing with that. Then a couple, another monitor, so we're running 4 mixes to wedges on stage if we need it. The next 3 are left and right and sub, so it's an aux-fed sub situation. And what's new that I'm doing this week is, because I couldn't figure out a better way to do this, and maybe somebody that sees this video could advise me, the matrix outputs here are actually going to be used to drive the IEMs or the inner monitors. And the reason for that, I just go select one of these channels. Like here's my I've selected the channel that I have for my what's going to be driving my ear. Basically what's in the mix is my previous aux mix, which was my monitor, and if I go and look at that, I'll show all the instruments that I had in it. This is left and right main, and I can basically, if it's hard to see, but all this is highlighted in kind of a light lavender or purple color now that I've selected that matrix. And so these are the mix buses that are mixed into this output. So what I'm doing here is, in order to just give you a little bit more ambience or more of a feel of how the overall band sounds, so it's not quite so dry, with this configuration I can mix in a little bit of the main PA, but still have my vocal and instruments that I want above the levels of that, but basically put some main PA in my ear. And this is pre-fader, so as the front of house guy is making his changes, hopefully it doesn't throw the levels all over the place inside of my head. But this I'm going to use, and then would make this a template configuration where the matrices would drive IEMs. Eventually we'll go to stereo, I guess, and the auxes would be used to drive wedge monitors. And so there really wasn't a specific setup for stereo IEMs on this, so I just thought the matrix output would work well for that. So that's what we're running. I'll give you some results of this tomorrow after we play the show, or after this weekend. We got 2 shows. But if you have any comments about using the matrix to drive IEMs, and also if you're familiar with Heath iLive, send along your comments. I'd love to hear them. Thanks, and have a good one.